I need to preface this video by saying this. I will not be uploading for the next 2 weeks. I need to take some time off from YouTube, and I hope you can understand. There may be a few videos that pop up here and there by guest appearances, but there won't be any new videos, at least made by me, within the next 2 weeks. There are some things I need to sort out with my mental health and my living state. I need to sort those things out in the meantime and give myself a break. With that said, I do not want to leave my audience empty-handed, so I believe it is time we break the silence. I'm in this room again. Everything feels familiar. The empty space, the simple chair, the bed and desk space, and the same window. The only question is, why am I here again? Silence. Was it something I did wrong? What is my crime this time? How far down have I broken? Or rather, who have I broken? Did someone die? Or am I dead? Is that even a question I can ask? Silence. This room doesn't seem so bad. There seems to be at least some life, aside from the dust that has accumulated, but something keeps calling to me. It's just beyond the walls, but I can't reach it. I become quieter and hear it tell me, "It's not safe." I ask the voice what I had to fear. Silence. I continued to listen to the voice. Body pressed against the wall. The voice continued speaking, almost as if it was a voice I recognized. "Be careful. Don't let them know. If they discover the truth, they'll throw you out. You'll become an outcast." Silence. I didn't know how to respond to this constant stream of warnings and worries. The voice began to grow louder and louder, the messages echoing all around me, and the walls beginning to decay. I wanted to hide under the bed, remove my head, anything to escape and find silence. The voice of reason was gone, and in its place was a far darker tone. I continued to hear murmurs all around me, slowly growing louder and louder, speech growing less coherent and beginning to sound like babble. I tried to grasp for peace and longed for silence. The color of the walls began to fade away from pristine white to decaying black. The wallpaper peeled like skin and ink, oozing onto the floor in heaping clumps. The voices around me continued to echo, their context becoming toxic like the room. "There's no hope left. Give up and die." Silence. The voices grew hostile, trying to instill more and more fear into me. They called out my worst regrets and worst nightmares. They told me how I should fear everything and continued to ask why I had no fears. They began to mock me in a jumbled fashion. "If you fear nothing, then what are you afraid of now?" Silence. The air around me began to thicken like a blanket. The air itself vibrated with the voices as they had risen to a vibrant roar. They bellowed fear into my ears, forced the sounds down my throat, and began to choke me. "If you're not afraid, then why don't you just die? Death is such a pleasant escape. Why don't you take it?" Silence. I cried in pain as the voices moved and commanded the air. They were all around me and forced the room to fall. The walls began to crumble, stone cascading down. The light from beyond the window was gone and pitch dark. Chair and floors, the bed, were all rotting away. The voices continued to scream and shout as the walls came down. Silence. The room was gone. The rubble I was in had vanished, and I stood alone in an empty space with no light and no way out. The voices had faded now to a low hum. I could barely breathe and felt myself suffocating. The voices were fading, and so was I. The voices were about to grant me silence. The air began to fade. I gasped, hoping to provide my lungs relief, but it never came. The voices were gone, and so was everything else. There was nothing left to me but a void, and I feared it more than anything before it. What I feared now was not the calls of paranoia. What I feared now was the silence.